Hi, Dan Krause here, and today I want to talk about testamentary trust or trusts that are created after someone passes away. But first, I want to invite you to subscribe to my newsletter. I'm an estate planning attorney and I practice estate planning and elder law in Wisconsin. And we put out a newsletter every month with a lot of good information. And you can email us at newsletter@friendly.law. That's newsletter@friendly.law. So, what is a testamentary trust? A testamentary trust is a trust that's created by a last will and testament that only comes into effect after someone passes away. Now, I want to conflate two types of trusts that are very similar, and that's the testamentary trust, which is created by a last will and testament, and a beneficiary trust, which is created by oftentimes a revocable living trust. And they're both created after the person passes away. So if a person who's doing estate planning creates a will and they want things to go on after they've passed away and be held for a certain person or for a certain group of people, they'll create a testamentary trust, and assets will go into that trust, and they will only be given to that person according to the rules of the trust. And then oftentimes, when that person reaches a certain more mature age, let's say 25 or maybe 30, whatever the person who creates the trust decides, then the person just gets those assets and is able to use them however they want. Why is this concept so important? Well, for disabled people, for incapacitated people, and most commonly for young people who really don't know how to handle money and may make a lot of mistakes or just waste the money that was saved for them during their parents' lifetimes. Oftentimes as parents, sometimes grandparents, sometimes aunts and uncles, and sometimes just benefactors. So if you have a young person who's going to inherit from you or possibly inherit from you because you have young children, or maybe you have grown children and their children are young and they might receive something from you, it's it's a great idea to create a testamentary trust or a beneficiary trust so that you choose the person that handles the money for the young person until that young person grows up and gets old enough, or the disabled person, etc. So that now the person can use the money to go to school, to go to college, to go to band camp or football camp or get braces, anything like that, as long as the trustee approves these things until the person reaches the age, say 25, in which case the trustee then turns over control of the assets to the young person or the beneficiary. Now, another thing that's very important is to remember that the testamentary trust or the beneficiary trust created under a revocable living trust does not control things that are outside of the trust or outside of the probate estate in the case of a will. Why is this important? Think about life insurance. Now, who are you going to name as a beneficiary on your life insurance? Oftentimes we name our children. Or if we're married, we name the spouse first and then the children as an alternate if the spouse does not survive. So what happens if the children are young? Well, what happens is the insurance company will just hang on to those assets until the child reaches their 18th birthday, and then the insurance company will pay over to that child the whole of the insurance, and then the child can go and spend it on the Ferrari or whatever they might think is in their best interest at 18 years of age. Another option is the insurance company will insist that the child's guardian get a court order that allows them to hand over the money to that child's guardian. This can be a bad situation in case of divorced couples. I've known many divorced couples or many divorced people who would rather not have their ex-spouse handling money for young children, their young children. If something happens to them, they want to name, say, the aunt of the young children or the sister or the brother of the person who is doing the planning that may pass away, so that the child's alcoholic father, let's say, is not put in charge of the money, and maybe the money would disappear that way. How do you manage that? Well, what you do is after you've created a will or a living trust with testamentary provisions, then then you've got to go to your insurance company and fill out their forms and say, instead of spouse first and then children next, or children first, what you say is, to my trustee for the benefit of my children under a trust created in my last will and testament, or in a beneficiary trust created under my living trust. So with this language now, the trustee, or the insurance company will turn over the money to the trustee, whoever it is that you choose. Now the trustee can hold it past the 18th birthday until whatever age you decide. Or if it's a disabled person, the trustee can hold it in a special needs trust, and then the disabled person will not be knocked off any of their other benefits that they might have. So creating a beneficiary trust or a testamentary trust is very important if you may have young beneficiaries or disabled beneficiaries. And it's also very important to coordinate the beneficiaries on your life insurance to correspond with these testamentary or beneficiary trusts. If you have any questions about this or any other estate planning topics, please give us a call. The number is 608-268-5751. Thanks for spending time with me today.